Well, let's get more details now from CNN's Chris Cuomo. He is there for us at the crash scene there in Ukraine. Chris, thanks for being with us. You know, I understand earlier reports of gunfire in that area. What have you seen? What have you heard?
Well, I mean, any reports like that, Lynn, you should believe, because this is an active conflict. Obviously, we have to verify all reporting, but there's reports of a couple dozen people being killed just 150 clicks from here. This is very active warfare. What you hear right now in the back is local militias yelling because some of their superiors are coming through and they don't want them put on camera. That takes us to the next problem. We're hearing gunfire right here. The local militia who's in charge of this site is very hostile. They're much more involved with making a show of force than they are of giving dignity to the situation that's here. And that's really the hardest part, Lynn, is that, you know, even in the worst of circumstances, you have a certain expectation of dignity that's afforded the scene and the victims, of course, and that's not happening here. They're just starting to collect the bodies. They're not sophisticated in this. They have local miners helping and other locals who wanted to volunteer. They're putting little ribbons to mark the bodies. They're missing some of them. You have pieces of the fuselage like here. It's spread out for miles around here. You need trained eyes to collect the evidence so that you can make a compelling case about what happened, no matter how obvious it seems to people from what they hear in the media and hear from politicians. And that's not happening because it's simply too dangerous, Lynn.
And, you know, Chris, we were hearing reports of investigators not even being able to get access to that crime scene, not even get it through the area. And on top of it, rebels looting the area, grabbing items from these victims. And you talk about that human factor and how unimaginable that is.
Now, I haven't seen any looting. I have heard the reports just like you, but I'll tell you this much. I've been at scenes like this before, unfortunately, and you always see the trappings of someone's life. You see their luggage, you see their phone, their purse, wallets, you know, things that were theirs, that all of us have, and that means so much more when something like this happens to the families, because if you don't get your loved one back, if they don't survive, if you don't get their body to deal with the way you want to within your own family, then their things become so important. And I don't see any of those things. And I haven't heard any compelling accounts from the men here that they've taken them and cataloged them and are holding them somewhere else. So I think there's a really good basis for suspicion, and there's a real need for the international community to demand better out of this situation.
No doubt about that. Chris Cuomo there at the crash site in Ukraine. Chris, thanks so much.